Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a short series where I go over set 5 characters that I think could take down an RLE. These are the 5 from set 5 that I think actually have a realistic shot at doing it. We have Mirio, Overhaul, Midoriya 4, Nejiri Hado, and Kendo Rappa. Today I'm going to focus on Mirio Togata. Mirio gets a very balanced approach to the game, and I think he's the strongest of set 5 and maybe the strongest character in the game. So we get the first enhance, which is our aggressive enhance. We get to change the zone of attacks and give it 2 damage. And then the bottom enhance, we get to play very strong defense because we can take any rival attack damage down to 0, so they can't just dunk on us with these huge one-hit KOs. All right, I chose good. I think this is a very easy choice for Mirio. Chaos and Air have some interesting things going on with things like Pillar Swing, and they have some good slams, but I think good is just demanding to be played with the punch lineup. So the strategy for Mirio is we want to play aggressive. We want to destroy our rival before they're able to establish a defensive wall. We're going to do this by playing mono zone attacks. That means we can sort of ignore speed and stun. We can focus more on the damage. We need to build quickly. We need to draw. We need to ignore progressive. We need to pump damage. I think this could be said for any aggro character. These are the 4 things that you want to do. And then because we're playing an aggro character, we want to be very consistent. And so we want to keep our deck size low. So we want to be underneath 60 cards, preferably as close to 50 as we can get. And then to stay alive, we always want to end our turn with 1 to 2 momentum for defense. And we're going to use Mirio and we're going to use Cheerleader to turn that momentum into defense, and then we can block 1 or 2 attacks and make it through a turn because we're only looking to survive 2 or 3 turns because we want to win early. All right, so this is the deck list. You can see it's 52 cards. We have 18 attacks, and if I move my head, you can see we've got 4 Capture Evildoers, and we can see the majority of our foundations are spam foundations. The first key to Mirio is just to get momentum. So we're going to use Capture Evildoer so that we can selectively remove rival momentums and add the top card of our deck to our momentum. And then we can also cash in on our existing momentum by clearing our card pool of 2 attacks and continuing the aggression. Phantom Threat is a better dual needle lunge. We're not losing 3 health. It doesn't have a bad block modifier. It has better stats. It's going to go to momentum for free. And every time we give it a damage, it's also going to get a speed. So by the end of it, typically this is going to be a 7 speed attack. So even though we don't care about speed in Mirio because we're changing the zone, things like Phantom Threat are going to be very high speed. And then Rejuvenating Smash and Back Alley Haymaker end up having EX. So sometimes we just get the speed as well. So we get to have our cake and eat it too, so to speak. And the 5 damage, the getting it off 5 times, I think people focus in on that a little too much. Even if you're only doing it 3 or 4 times, getting that extra speed each time is very important. So, and we can get the 5 damage off pretty consistently between Phantom Threat, Powerful 3, Mirio's Face, giving it 2, Raiding the Villain's Hideout, giving it 2, and then we've got Self-Sack, and then we have Lemillion of the big 3. So it's not hard to count to 5 there. And then the other way we're going to get momentum is through the combination of Raiding the Villain's Hideout and Rejuvenating Smash. Raiding the Villain's Hideout allows us to discard cards for 2 damage, and the good symbol with punches is going to have Hardened Jab, Valiant Assault, Rejuvenating Smash. We're going to be drawing cards like crazy, so that allows us to take our card advantage and turn it into damage, and it's going to turn on Rejuvenating Smash second enhance, where if we've discarded a card, we get to add the top card of our deck to our momentum. So I'm only running Phantom Threat at a 2 because of this combination, because Phantom Threat says you can't add cards to your momentum for the rest of the turn. So I find that this is the best combination of these 2 cards. I really like doing lines like Back Alley Haymaker into Rejuvenating Smash, grab your momentum, use Capture Evildoers, clear your card pool, then use a Phantom Threat, send it to momentum, clear your card pool again. Now you've played 3 attacks and you have a clear card pool. I think Raiding the Villain Hideout is the much better 3 difficulty foundation compared to Pull No Punches. I find most other Mirios playing Pull No Punches to get the momentum, but we get so many other ways to get momentum that we just don't need it. And Raiding the Villain Hideout, getting that extra 2 damage to everything on top of Mirio. Now we're slamming 4 damage on things. This is just, that's like a 5-hander rate, but now we're doing it as a 6-hander with tons of draw. All right, next key is we need to build quickly. So we have Hardened Jab to build face downs. We have Back Alley Haymaker to build 0 diffs. We have Mill Bonding to, if we take an unblocked attack, which we want to on turn 2, then we can build and get foundations very quickly, and we have It Can't Be Fixed. So if they stun us, that we can also build. And part of building quickly is we need a very low average difficulty of foundations, because on turn, if we go first, we're always going to want to be building at least 4 foundations. If we go second, we're always going to want to be building at least 5 foundations. And then you add in things like Back Alley Haymaker, and you add in Mail Bonding. By your turn 2, you should be at 7 or 8 foundations most of the time. All right, the next thing is we want maximum card advantage. So Hardened Jab, we get to selectively draw from our foundation. Valiant Assault, we're drawing 2. Rejuvenating Smash, we're drawing 2. Back Alley Haymaker, if it's a late game situation, we might use the draw instead of the build. and then you're finished. We can pretty consistently get off because Rejuvenating Smash and Back Alley Haymaker have EX, so you can selectively choose which of the momentum you're going to discard. And so if you have playing Back Alley Haymaker, you'll choose the Back Alley Haymaker of your momentum, and then you can draw with your finished. Or we can use Self-Sack to destroy the attack that we want that's a face-down foundation to get the draw off. And then Destined for Mainstream Success sometimes draws us a card, and it can guarantee our check, which brings us to our next one. We're going to want to ignore progressive difficulty. So again, we have Capture Evildoers come up again on this key, and we have Phantom Threat come up again, and we have Hardened Jab come up again. So we want all of our cards to be being used for 2 or 3 keys of our game, and that means that it's a must play. So these 3 cards are just must plays. And then we have Destined for Mainstream Success, again, to make sure that we're checking a 5, and then Valiant Assault, the second enhance that's commonly forgotten, but if you deal damage, you can look at the top card of your deck and put it at the bottom if you like. And then we just want massive damage. So we're playing a couple copies of Texas Smash, because if we're playing into decks like Recovery Girl, then we're going to need to be able to have these turns where we do 30, 40 damage, and Texas Smash is going to help that. And then we have Raiding the Villain's Hideout for +2 damage. We have Lemillion for plus another, and it's also going to give everything a speed. And then we have Self-Sack to give everything a damage. So by the end of it, we're giving every single attack 4+ damage on average. And then finally, we want to stay alive. So we can use Cheerleader to use our momentum to flash their strongest flow enhance before they can use the enhances on their attack or their foundations or character. And then we can use Mirio to take down an attack to 0 and kill their strongest attack. And then we can block 2 or 3 in the middle, or realistically 1 to 2 with high value target. And if we need to press the emergency button on Raiding the Villain Hideout, we can get +1 to our checks. Finally, our block zone, we've got pretty even block zone. So there's nothing we're too worried about. We do skew high, but that's just natural on good punches. And that's it for Mirio. The last question to cover is, what zone should you make your attacks? Should you make them lows or should you make them high? And I don't think that that's a question that you even have to make. I think your opponent's deck makes it for you. So after a few turns go by in game 1 against your opponent, look through their discard pile, look at what they're playing, and ask yourself, do they have more blow blocks or do they have more high blocks? And then just play what they don't have. And the nice thing with Top Cuts now is that Top Cuts are going to be open deck list, so you're going to be able to see your opponent's deck list and then adjust accordingly. And the other thing is, the other common mistake that I see Mirio's making is just having way too many cards in their deck. And I think that Mirio's demanding to be played aggressively. And what's nice is you can play aggressively with no fear because of his bottom enhance plus Cheerleader, and you feel unkillable, and then you also feel unstoppable on offense. So that's it for Mirio, and stay tuned because I will be doing Overhaul next.